The cold wind howled through the metal corridors of Outpost K-42, rattling the reinforced doors and making the lights flicker. Commander Alex Mercer wiped a streak of sweat from his brow despite the chill. The colony's energy shields had been failing intermittently for weeks, and today he had worked tirelessly to fix them. He felt the exhaustion in his bones, every muscle aching from climbing, crawling, and rewiring circuits in the bitter cold. The outpost was small, isolated, and vulnerable. It sat on a barren, rocky planet, far from any human settlement. Communication with Earth was limited, and they depended entirely on their own skills. For months, the outpost had been quiet. The crew had settled into a routine, check the shields, maintain the systems, and survive the harsh winds. But today, a strange signal interrupted the monotony. Alex had been monitoring the communications console when the signal appeared, a faint but clear transmission coming from deep space. Its origin was unknown. His heart raced as he called over the communications officer, a young woman named Mara. "What is that?" he asked. Mara's eyes widened as she analyzed the data. "It's not from any known human colony or ship, and it's not a distress signal. It almost looks like a beacon." Before Alex could respond, the distant hum of engines filled the air. A shadow passed over the outpost, and he looked up to see a sleek transport ship descending toward the landing platform. Its design was unlike anything human had ever built. Smooth, organic curves gleamed under the dim light, and no weaponry was visible. Yet the presence of the ship made every human on the platform tense. The hatch of the ship opened, and a figure stepped out. Alex froze. She was tall, graceful, and moved barefoot across the metal surface. The wind seemed to part for her as she walked. Her robe flowed around her like liquid shadow, catching the dim light of the landing lamps. Slowly, deliberately, she let the robe fall. Beneath it, her clothing was like armor, sleek, flexible, and strong, yet somehow elegant. Every eye in the outpost was on her. She stopped in front of Alex. Her eyes, a deep shade of violet, seemed to pierce straight through him. "You're mine tonight," she said, her voice calm but commanding. Silence followed her words. Alex's mind raced. Was she a threat, a diplomat, or some advanced scout sent to test humanity? He had learned long ago not to panic, but this presence was unlike anything he had faced. His instincts told him to stay calm, to assess the situation, and to protect his people. The alien woman, Lyria, made no aggressive move. Instead, she regarded him with an intensity that was almost uncomfortable. "I have traveled across the stars to find someone like you," she said. "Someone strong, unpredictable, and resourceful. I have chosen you to face challenges to prove your worth, and the worth of your people." Alex straightened. "Challenges? Who are you?" "I am Lyria, a scout of the Veari Empire," she said, her tone even. "We have been observing your species for decades. Humans are unique. I have come to test you." The other members of the outpost whispered among themselves, unsure whether to step forward or retreat. Alex held up a hand, signaling them to stay calm. "What kind of test?" he asked. Lyria smiled faintly, though her eyes remained serious. "You will see. Tonight your courage, intelligence, and adaptability will be measured. Fail, and the consequences could be severe. Succeed, and humanity will earn recognition in the wider galaxy." Alex felt a shiver run down his spine, though he tried to hide it. He was a soldier, trained for combat and survival, but this was different. This was not a battlefield he knew. This was a game of intellect, strategy, and human instinct against a being far more advanced than him. The first challenge came almost immediately. Lyria gestured toward the landing platform's edge. Holographic projections flickered to life, showing scenarios that tested Alex's perception and decision-making. The images displayed alien machinery, strange environments, and potential threats. Alex had to identify weaknesses in structures, detect traps, and respond to unpredictable situations. At first, the projections seemed chaotic, impossible even, but Alex relied on his training. He observed patterns, anticipated outcomes, and used his intuition. Slowly, he began to succeed. Lyria watched silently, noting his every move. The projection scenarios became more complex, introducing variables he had never encountered. But Alex adapted, using logic, instinct, and courage. Hours passed. The cold air and the mental strain weighed on him, but he did not falter. Each success earned him a faint nod from Lyria. By the time the first challenge ended, Alex realized that she respected his abilities. She had expected humans to fail, to hesitate, to falter. Yet here he was, standing strong, analyzing every challenge, and responding without fear. "You have done well," Lyria said, her voice carrying a hint of approval. "Many of my kind would have failed at these tasks. Humans, you are different." Alex exhaled, feeling a mix of relief and anticipation. "Why me?" he asked. "Why choose a human to test your empire's theories?" Lyria's eyes softened for a moment. "Because humans are unpredictable. You survive against the odds. You adapt when others would break. That is the quality my people seek. You embody what it means to endure, to face the unknown with courage." Despite her words, Alex knew the tests were far from over. The first challenge had been only a demonstration of his mental and strategic abilities. Lyria's true evaluation was yet to come. Night fell, and the cold grew sharper. The outpost lights reflected off the metal floors, casting long shadows. Lyria led Alex to the training bay, where alien technology filled the room. Equipment that defied human understanding, weapons that moved with precision and intelligence, and devices that seemed almost alive. "This is where the true test begins," she said. "You will face challenges that require not just strength, but trust, intuition, and leadership. You will be tested against technology far beyond your own, and the survival of your team may depend on your choices." Alex studied the room. He felt a mixture of fear and exhilaration. Every fiber of his being was alert. He knew he could not rely on brute force alone. He would need to think, adapt, and anticipate. And in doing so, he realized that Lyria's presence was teaching him something more profound: the value of human ingenuity and spirit. The night stretched on. Alex faced simulation scenarios that required him to make split-second decisions. He navigated treacherous alien terrain, decoded complex patterns in real time, and coordinated the outpost team under pressure. Each victory was small but significant, a testament to human resilience. Lyria observed silently, occasionally offering cryptic guidance. She never intervened directly, but her eyes seemed to measure Alex's every choice. By the end of the night, Alex had demonstrated courage, intelligence, and leadership. He had survived scenarios that even experienced Veyari scouts might have failed. As the first light of dawn touched the horizon, Lyria finally spoke. "You have proven yourself, Commander Mercer. You have shown qualities that are rare, even among my people. But this is only the beginning. Tomorrow, you will face the ultimate test, one that will measure not just your skills, but your character, your heart, and the strength of humanity itself." Alex nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. He felt pride, not just for himself, but for the human species he represented. Lyria's choice had been more than personal. It was a recognition of humanity's potential. For the first time since her arrival, Lyria allowed a faint smile. "Rest now," she said. "Tomorrow, the true measure begins. Humanity's value in the galaxy may depend on what you do next." Alex watched her leave the training bay, her figure fading into the shadows. He knew sleep would be elusive. His mind raced with anticipation, planning strategies, and imagining the challenges that lay ahead. He had survived the first night, but he understood that the real test and the revelation of why Lyria had chosen him was still to come. As he finally lay down, exhaustion pulling at his body, he could not shake the words she had spoken. "You're mine tonight." The meaning had shifted in his mind. It was no longer a threat, but a challenge, an acknowledgement that humans were more than their small, isolated colonies. They were strong, resourceful, and unpredictable. They were worthy of attention among the stars. Alex closed his eyes, readying himself for what the dawn would bring, knowing that humanity's future and its recognition in a galaxy far larger than he had ever imagined might depend on his courage, his choices, and his unbreakable human spirit. The night had ended, but the challenge had only just begun. The sun rose slowly over outpost K-42, painting the barren, rocky landscape in shades of orange and red. Alex Mercer stood on the platform, watching the horizon, feeling the cold biting his skin. Last night had tested his mind, but today promised a trial that would test his body, his instincts, and his spirit. Lyria had returned before dawn, her presence silent and commanding. She moved across the platform barefoot, her robe once again flowing around her, but this time her gaze was sharper, more calculating. "Today," she said, "you will face the ultimate test. You will confront challenges that simulate real combat and survival situations. Your skills, your courage, and your leadership will be measured against the unknown. Your people's future may rest on this day." Alex nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and tension. He had trained for many missions, faced hostile planets and alien creatures, but nothing like this. Lyria's tests were unpredictable. She did not reveal her strategies or intentions, leaving Alex to rely entirely on his intuition and judgment. She led him to a large dome on the edge of the outpost. Inside, the air shimmered with holographic projections, creating a vast, lifelike simulation. The terrain shifted constantly, alternating between rugged alien mountains, toxic swamps, and unstable energy fields. Robotic drones emerged, some resembling creatures Alex had never seen, others more machine than organic. "Your goal," Lyria explained, "is to navigate this terrain, protect your team, and reach the center of the simulation. Along the way, you will encounter traps, puzzles, and hostile entities. Success will show that humans can adapt to challenges no other species can overcome." Alex took a deep breath. "Then we begin." The simulation started immediately. The floor beneath them trembled, and the holographic world materialized around them. Alien mountains rose sharply, their peaks shrouded in mist. The air smelled faintly metallic, and the light shifted unpredictably. Alex's team followed him closely, their trust in his leadership absolute. He guided them carefully, scanning for hazards and planning the safest route. The first obstacle appeared quickly, a series of energy barriers that pulsed with lethal intensity. One wrong step, and the result could be fatal. Alex studied the patterns, timing the team's movements with precision. He counted in his mind, signaling his team to step forward in sync. They moved like a well-oiled machine, narrowly avoiding the deadly pulses. Lyria observed silently from the edge of the simulation, her expression unreadable. She occasionally nodded, acknowledging Alex's tactical decisions, but never intervened. Her presence was a constant reminder that he was being evaluated, every choice weighed carefully. Next came the drones, small, fast-moving entities with sharp claws and sensors that detected heat and movement. Alex had never seen anything like them. He quickly instructed his team to scatter, using the terrain as cover while he devised a way to disable the drones without unnecessary risk. He noticed that the drones followed predictable patterns, their sensors limited to line-of-sight detection. Using this, Alex led his team in a coordinated maneuver, drawing the drones into a trap he improvised from fallen alien structures. When the last drone fell, Alex allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. His instincts had worked. His team had survived. But the challenges intensified. The terrain shifted suddenly to a toxic swamp, thick with green fog that made visibility nearly zero. Strange, multi-limbed creatures emerged from the mist, moving silently, stalking the humans. Alex instructed his team to stick together, using handheld scanners to detect the creatures' movements. He remembered something his father had once told him. In the darkest moments, humans survive by trusting their senses, their intellect, and each other. Alex applied that lesson. He listened for subtle sounds, watched for shadows, and anticipated movement patterns. One by one, they navigated the swamp, avoiding the creatures and reaching a dry clearing. By midday, Alex realized the true purpose of Lyria's test. It was not simply about survival. It was about adaptability, leadership, and the ability to make quick, ethical decisions under pressure. The simulation included scenarios where his team's lives were at stake, where choices could cost them dearly if he failed to act wisely. The final segment of the simulation approached, a vast crater filled with unstable energy fields, the most dangerous terrain yet. The holographic display projected deadly obstacles, shifting platforms, energy surges, and drones programmed to block every path. Alex felt a pang of fear, but did not let it show. He studied the patterns carefully, calculating the risks and devising a strategy. He instructed his team to move in small groups, each person covering the other, using quick reflexes and ingenuity to bypass the energy surges. At one point, a platform collapsed beneath Alex's feet. He caught himself on the edge, his muscles straining but refused to panic. With careful calculation and determination, he pulled himself up and signaled his team to continue. Lyria stepped closer, her voice calm but filled with approval. "You see, Commander Mercer, humans survive where others would fail. You adapt, you think, and you protect. That is why you were chosen. Your species is remarkable." Alex didn't relax. He knew the simulation wasn't over until they reached the center, where the final challenge awaited. The crater opened into a narrow passage, filled with a maze of alien machinery and glowing energy conduits. Here, Alex needed not only courage, but also ingenuity. The machines responded to sound, touch, and movement. One wrong action could trigger a cascade of failures. He guided his team step by step, testing surfaces carefully, signaling others to wait when the path ahead seemed uncertain. A sudden surge of energy threatened to block their way. Alex acted instinctively, using a piece of debris to short-circuit the conduit safely. His team followed, amazed by his quick thinking. Finally, they reached the center of the simulation. A holographic projection of Lyria appeared, her form larger than life, almost ethereal. "You have done well, Alex Mercer," she said. "You have proven intelligence, courage, and leadership beyond expectation. But there is one more lesson to learn. Humanity's value is not just in survival, it is in how you treat each other, how you act under pressure, and how you honor your choices." She gestured, and the simulation faded. The outpost returned to normal, the harsh wind blowing across the platform, carrying dust and debris. Alex and his team looked at each other, exhausted but triumphant. They had survived every challenge, faced the unknown, and adapted where most would have failed. Lyria approached Alex personally, her bare feet silent against the metal floor. "You see," she said softly, "humans are unpredictable, resilient, and courageous. I came to test your species, expecting weaknesses. Instead, I found strengths no other civilization possesses. You, Alex Mercer, have shown that humanity is worthy of recognition among the stars." Alex felt a mix of relief, pride, and awe. So, what happens now? He asked. You continue to live, Lyria said, her eyes reflecting something almost like admiration. And humanity continues to grow, to surprise, and to prove its worth. Your actions tonight have changed the perception of your species. You have shown that courage, ingenuity, and heart matter more than technology alone. That is what makes humans extraordinary. Alex nodded slowly, understanding the weight of her words. The tests had been grueling, the challenges beyond anything he had imagined. But they had also revealed something deeper. Humanity's value lay not in machines, weapons, or power, but in the resilience, creativity, and determination of its people. For a long moment, they stood in silence, watching the horizon. The sun had risen fully now, casting a warm glow over the outpost. Lyria finally smiled, faint but genuine. I will return to my people with a message. Humanity is strong, worthy, and capable. And perhaps one day you will meet them again, not as a subject of study, but as a respected ally. Alex allowed himself a small smile, feeling the weight of accomplishment settle over him. The night's trials had tested his limits, but they had also proven that humans could stand among the stars with courage and ingenuity. As Lyria turned and walked toward her ship, she paused. One day, Alex Mercer, you will understand that being chosen is not about ownership or control. It is about recognition. Recognition that your species is remarkable. Never forget that. The ship lifted off, disappearing into the sky with barely a sound. Alex watched until it was gone, then turned to his team. They looked back at him with respect and admiration, their faith in human resilience reinforced by what they had witnessed. Today, he said, we survived together. We adapted, we learned, and we proved something important, not just to her, but to ourselves. Humans are capable of greatness. The team nodded, tired but inspired. The cold wind still bit at their faces, the barren planet still stretched endlessly before them. But for the first time, Alex felt a sense of pride that went beyond survival. It was pride in humanity itself, a species that could endure, innovate, and triumph against challenges beyond comprehension. As they returned to the outpost, Alex thought of Lyria's words. Recognition among the stars. It was not just an honor, it was a promise. Humanity had been tested, and it had survived. The future held uncertainty, danger, and unknown worlds. But Alex knew one thing. Humans were ready. And in that moment, standing on the edge of a frozen, lonely planet, Commander Alex Mercer felt the weight of human potential settle in his chest, like a fire that could never be extinguished. He had faced the impossible, survived the unknown, and emerged stronger, not just as a man, but as a representative of humanity itself. The trials had ended, but the story of human courage, ingenuity, and resilience had only begun.